On Palestine, Netanyahu and Trump are both saying the quiet part out loud. And we're hearing some blunt truths that maybe many people didn't really want to consider before. Netanyahu is saying that Israel won't accept living alongside a Palestinian state, meaning the whole idea of a two-state solution, well, Israel's saying that's never going to happen. Trump has made clear that the US is no longer demanding a Palestinian state. Hi, I'm Tony Curran, the editorial manager at AJ Plus. I have been covering the Middle East peace process, as they call it, since the days of Bill Clinton and Yasser Arafat in the late 90s. Netanyahu has come to Washington to talk about what comes next in Gaza. There's not much good news in there for Palestinians, particularly the Palestinians of Gaza. From the Israeli side, it's like forget about a two-state solution or Palestinian state. They're now talking about the expulsion of the survivors of the Gaza genocide. On the American side, they've long stopped talking about a two-state solution. Trump doesn't bother to sort of mouth the words that have been empty since 2000. These two sides are in accord, really, and are not bothering to say the words that many Western and Arab governments would like to hear from them. These aren't really new positions. That's the interesting part. That basically, Netanyahu has been Israel's democratically elected prime minister for the majority of the last 30 years. And what's interesting here is that he no longer feels any need to disguise or even fudge his intentions. He reminded the world's media just this week that he's actually spent his entire political career fighting against the possibility of Palestinian self-determination. He's basically here declaring victory on a program that he began in 1996 when he first got elected, which is to stop the emergence or prevent the emergence of a Palestinian state alongside Israel. Today, we're saying his regime is literally accelerating its efforts to violently expel Palestinians from both Gaza and the West Bank. So why does Netanyahu feel so confident in his defiance of what's been the consensus among European, other Western and Arab states, and even the long-standing policies of the United States, the sort of mantra of a two-state solution? Well, it's because there's no pressure on him to lie or even dissemble about his intentions anymore. You can actually see that a lot of the players in the region and maybe elsewhere have acted as if the US is a referee, right, since the beginning of the peace process. And so there's been the assumption, even with the genocide, that at some point the US referee will blow the whistle and call a halt. Are we seeing any evidence of that? No, because the US is not the referee. The US is a player, a coach, an armorer of one side in this contest.